workforce experience.
Real conversations about the people and strategy shaping the world of work. And really excited episode 2, following up with Glenn Quades, owner and founder, president of Workforce. Episode 2 is about building a thriving workforce, policy, people, and partnership. I'm really excited about this guest. And when you think of people, policy, partnerships, none better than Nathan Bocks. So really excited to introduce him.
Nathan, welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
And you have something going on today, right?
We're building the brand new Holland Ice Park. It's going to be a big day for Holland. We've been working at this for 7 years now to get to this day.
What a feat. And I saw you this morning on the news. So 4 a.m. start time?
Started at 3 a.m. I did 5 or 6 interviews with Channel 8, did a couple with Fox 17, did a couple with, what is it? What's the other channel? Channel 13. I was on the radio. My brain's all fuzzy. When you're in the place today, but it's really great to be here with you guys this morning.
Yeah, you kind of have to do that media blitz.
As long as we've got a captive audience, I'm a happy guy.
So before we move on from these, you think what else do you want people to know about the ice rink?
One of the great things about the ice rink is the catalyst to it was $1 million donation from a retired West Ottawa school teacher, Frank Cry. A lot of your listeners may have known Frank. He passed away during the building of it, but an ordinary resident of the City of Holland. We often think about people who donate to things like that as being the really wealthy folks in town. Frank was just a regular guy. He was a school teacher for years. He was a tour guide for the Tulip Festival. He did a public access television show about the great things in Holland. And later on in life, realized that he had just invested well. He was actually surprised that he had, not much money, and always thought that Holland was his family. And so he said, if you build an ice rink and get it going before I pass away, I'll give you $1 million toward it. And we took us about 3 seconds to make that decision. And so today we're breaking ground on an $11.5 million ice rink. 9.5 of that $11.5 million came from private donations or state and federal dollars. So only $2 million of that $11.5 million is actually city taxpayer dollars. And we're really, really excited about what we've been able to do in that area. We invite everybody to come down. It's $10 to skate, but you can come down to be in the plaza, be by the fireplaces. That's all free. We want everybody in the community to come down and enjoy that great park.
What's the big win? And another big win was your
another term as mayor.
Yeah, he started my 4th term as mayor on Monday. 73% of the vote. That feels really pretty good. 2-year terms, no term limit. So I'm going to keep doing this as long as the people want me to do it. And we have fun and we're doing good work.
Yeah, we're excited that you're here to talk more about workforce and partnerships and policy and how that interacts in the future of Holland. And I also just want to also point out that I really appreciate the high level view that you have on, coming on
programs like these.
Allow people to access information that maybe won't always go to your website or always go to, your social media. And those are a lot of the people that come to Workforce that are looking for a bridge of access, not only for employment, but access to opportunities, access to information. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Well, making sure we meet people where they live, getting information out to people is one of the biggest challenges we have at the city. And so we try every channel that we have that we can. You're right. We've got the website, we've got social media, we're on the news. One of the things we hear from people more often than not is, we didn't know that was going on. So everywhere we can get out there and try to get information to people, we're going to do that.
Many, many people probably do know that you are an estate lawyer, but maybe people don't really understand what that means. So can you share a little bit about, what is an estate lawyer and how you do that, but also how your worlds connect from estate lawyer to mayor?
People think the mayor's a full-time job in Holland. It's not. It's a part-time job, or as my wife says, a full-time job with part-time pay. I'm a full-time attorney. I've got my own small practice. It's just me. I don't have any support staff at all. I never have. And for the last 35 years, I've helped people write wills and trusts. And what does that mean? I help them do 2 things. One, figure out what they want to have happen with assets when they pass away, where they're going to go to the people or to the organizations that they think are important. So I help them determine that. And then the other thing that I do is I put the tools in place to make it as easy as possible for the people that they leave behind to accomplish those goals. So it's one thing to help to sit down with them and help them discern what it is that they want to have happen. And then the other piece is putting the tools together to make that happen as quickly and easily as possible. That's really what my job is to sit down with people and talk through and figure out what's important to them. And then take that information and turn that into action one way or the other. So in my law practice, that means I'm drafting the documents. I'm putting all of those things together in my mayor role. That's doing one of two things. That's either trying to corral the other 8 members of city council and coming to a decision, because as mayor, I don't have real authority on my own to do anything. I've got to get 5 members of city council, myself included, to agree to be able to do anything. And then once we do that, you'll be able to make sure that the city staff who actually does the work, to be able to understand what it is that city council wants to have happen and get that out there. The other piece of that too is to talk to residents, to know what residents would like to have happen within the city. So there's an awful lot of communication that I have with city residents, whether it's through email, whether it's through phone calls, whether it's on the street, and finding out what they want to have happen in the city and explain to them what we can do and what we can't do, because I get an awful lot of questions from folks where they would like us to do things that we just simply don't have the power to do.
What role do policies and partnerships play in shaping access to good jobs and strong employees?
That is a really big job that we have in the City of Holland. Our job, we believe, is to create an environment where, one, employers would like to locate, and 2, where employees would like to live. It's one of the biggest challenges we've had in Holland since I've been the mayor is affordable housing. We hear that all the time, that residents say it's expensive to live here. And taxes can be high, and it's just expensive to find a place to live, whether I'm renting or whether I'm owning. We would love it to be able to provide an unlimited supply of housing for folks, but the city itself doesn't build houses. So the best thing that we can do is work with developers to try to make it more attractive and provide incentives for them to build lower cost housing. And we're working on those kinds of things every day.
Leadership, local leadership, city business, city leadership, local business, agencies like Workforce and other agencies that are nonprofits, how can they work together? And I think you just mentioned one piece of that where there's multiple partners that are playing. But, when it comes to talent, which is what we're focused on, I know you are and employers are as well. What can we do to better work together?
Yeah, it comes down to that communication. We need to talk to one another about what it is that you're seeing with the talent that you're trying to get into the community. What is it that they're looking for, so that we can try to provide those types of things within the community. City only has so many different things that we can do, but the Ace Park is a great example of that. When you're trying to bring good talent into the community, we've heard from people all the time, this is a great place to live in spring, summer, and fall, but February, not so much. And one of the things that we're doing with that Ice Park is bringing an amenity in to make it a little nicer for people and something for them to do in the wintertime.
A lot of the people that we work with here at Workforce, I mentioned, are looking for that access, whether it be opportunity, information, employment, housing. And so it starts with foundationally trust. And being able to go to the places that you trust and know that you're going to be serviced and worked with.
That is a really big deal for every employer, and frankly, for every employee. I encourage people to get involved in this community at all levels, whether that's the employer being a sponsor of different events and different things that are going on. But as mayor, one of my roles as mayor and one of my jobs as mayor is I fill positions on 24 different boards, committees, and commissions. I want the residents of this community to have a voice in what's going on in this community, and whether that's on one of our boards, committees, or commissions, or whether that's in one of the different nonprofit organizations that's going on in this community. I think the best thing that an employee can do is to get involved in what's going on in their own neighborhood, in their own city, in their own township. That's going to get them connected with their friends and neighbors. And those kinds of webs and connections between people is what's going to create that trust. Those involvements in doing things with one another is really where that trust gets built, not only in the workplace, not only with the employers, but with those nonprofits, with those board committees and commissions.
Yeah, awesome. You want to talk about the power of inclusion. How does that principle show up for you as mayor, but as it relates to building a strong local workforce?
I want the city, our city government to reflect the population that's here in the city. And I want every single person that lives here to feel like they belong and that this is their city and this is their community. And I want their voice to be heard and I want their voice to be valued. And I was a nerdy kid when I was in middle school. And I remember walking around the lunchroom with that lunch tray in my hand, looking for that seat. And an empty seat at a table did not mean an open invitation. We really need to invite people into that table, into that seat, so that they can have a voice in what's going on in this community. And I really think that that's what inclusion means, is it's not just having that open seat, but it's inviting people into that seat.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And
I actually think that's a great place to wrap it up, Nathan. I think that's very well said. And I appreciate your time and your perspective and your leadership. And Holland Success really shows what's possible in business and community work hand in hand. And it takes leaders like you that are willing to see that first and foremost, but willing to do the work. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining us on Breakroom, a workforce experience. Thank you for listening. Share, comment, get involved, and definitely reach out with any questions. Have a good day.